First Contact at Galactic Academy. The glittering spires of Galactic Academy pierced the lavender sky of Nexus Prime, a testament to the combined intellect of 1,000 worlds. Amidst the throng of diverse alien species converging for the start of a new academic cycle, a solitary human stood out like a supernova in a sea of starlight. Zara Chen, freshly arrived from Earth, took in the breathtaking vista with wide eyes. Her heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as she adjusted the strap of her duffel bag. The Academy's recruitment poster hadn't done justice to the sheer scale and alien beauty of the place. As Zara made her way towards the orientation hall, she couldn't help but notice the curious stares and whispers that followed in her wake. Some aliens recoiled at her approach, while others leaned in with fascination. Is that a Deathworlder? The question rippled through the crowd in a dozen different languages, each more alien than the last. Zara had been briefed about this reaction. Humans, hailing from a planet classified as a death world due to its harsh conditions, were a rarity in galactic society. Their resilience, adaptability, and sheer tenacity in the face of adversity had earned them a fearsome reputation. The orientation hall was a massive amphitheater, easily able to seat tens of thousands. Zara found herself directed to a section reserved for Class 12 hazardous species. Her neighbors included a being composed entirely of plasma contained within a force field, and another that seemed to phase in and out of reality. As Zara settled into her seat, a gelatinous blob oozed into the spot next to her. 2 eye stalks emerged from its surface, blinking at her curiously. "Greetings, Earth being," it burbled in accented galactic standard. "I am Gloop of the Viscosi. You are the first human I have encountered in the flesh. May I inquire about your deadly capabilities?" Zara chuckled nervously. Hi Gloop. I'm Zara. And I'm really not that deadly. I'm just here to study xenobiology." Gloop's eye stalks wavered in what Zara interpreted as skepticism. "But surely you possess formidable natural weapons. Venomous fangs, corrosive secretions, the ability to manipulate fundamental forces." "Sorry to disappoint, but no," Zora replied, holding up her hands. "Just plain old human here. Though I did win my high school's arm wrestling championship." Before Gloop could respond, a hush fell over the amphitheater. A holographic image of a regal, multi-limbed being appeared at the center. "Greetings, aspiring scholars of the cosmos." The being's voice resonated through the hall. "I am Archdean Xylos, and it is my honor to welcome you to Galactic Academy. Here, you will push the boundaries of knowledge, forging connections across species and civilizations." As the Archdean continued his welcome speech, Zora's attention was drawn to a commotion a few rows ahead. A tall, avian creature was gesticulating wildly, its feathers puffed out in agitation. "I refuse to be seated near that human," it squawked. "Do you know what they eat? Animal flesh. They're carnivores." Zara sank lower in her seat, face burning with embarrassment. She hadn't expected her dietary habits to be such a point of contention. To her surprise, it was Gloop who came to her defense. "Exalted Viraxian," the blob burbled, "I have it on good authority that humans are omnivores, capable of subsisting on both plant and animal matter. Quite adaptable, really." The Viraxian ruffled its feathers indignantly but seemed to calm down. Zara shot a grateful look at Gloop, who wobbled in what she hoped was a friendly manner. As the orientation proceeded, Zara found herself bombarded with a dizzying array of information. The Academy's curriculum spanned topics she had never even dreamed of: quantum xenobiology, hyperspatial engineering, psychic resonance theory. It was overwhelming, but thrilling. During a break, Zara decided to explore the Academy's sprawling grounds. She wandered into a lush garden filled with plants from 1,000 worlds. The air was thick with exotic fragrances and the buzz of alien insects. Lost in wonder, Zara didn't notice the root-like appendage snaking towards her ankle until it was too late. With a yelp, she found herself dangling upside down, held aloft by a massive carnivorous plant. "Oh dear," a melodious voice chimed. "It seems the Venusian snare trap has mistaken you for prey." Zara twisted around to see a willowy being with iridescent skin approaching. The alien's long fingers danced in intricate patterns, and the plant slowly lowered Zara to the ground. "Thanks," Zara gasped, brushing herself off. "I'm Zara, by the way." "A pleasure, Zara of Earth. I am Lyra, a celestial from the harmonious Concordat," the being replied. "I must say, your reaction time was most impressive. Most beings caught by a snare trap take much longer to respond." Zara shrugged. "Growing up on Earth, you learn to stay on your toes. There's always something trying to eat you or fall on you or, well, you get the idea." Lyra's eyes widened with interest. "Fascinating. I've heard tales of Earth's perilous nature, but to meet someone who has thrived there. Tell me, is it true that your world experiences extreme temperature fluctuations, and that water frequently falls from the sky?" As Zara began to describe Earth's weather patterns, she noticed a small crowd of alien students gathering around, listening with rapt attention. What seemed mundane to her was apparently extraordinary to them. "Wait," a multi-eyed being interjected. "You're saying you routinely survive in temperatures that can freeze water and others that can boil it?" Zara nodded. "Yeah, we call it weather. It's not that big a deal. We just wear different clothes." The crowd murmured in amazement. Zara felt a mixture of pride and embarrassment at being the center of attention. As the day wore on, Zara found herself fielding increasingly outlandish questions about life on Earth. By the time she collapsed into her assigned dormitory pod that night, her head was spinning. Her roommate, a bioluminescent cephalopod-like being named Six, greeted her with a soft glow. "Rough first day, Earth friend." Zara sighed, sinking into the conforming gel that served as a bed. "You could say that. I didn't expect to be treated like some kind of exotic zoo exhibit." Six's tentacles waved in a soothing pattern. "Give it time. The novelty will wear off, and they'll see you for who you are, not just where you're from." As Zara drifted off to sleep, she couldn't help but wonder what challenges tomorrow would bring. Little did she know, her greatest test, and opportunity to showcase humanity's unique strengths, was just around the corner. The first rays of Nexus Prime's binary suns had barely peeked over the horizon when Zara's comm unit chirped insistently. Groggily, she fumbled for the device, nearly knocking it off the bedside gravitic stabilizer. "Attention all first-year xenobiology students," a crisp voice announced. "Report to Lecture Hall Epsilon 9 immediately for an urgent assembly." Six, already awake and glowing softly in shades of curious yellow, extended a tentacle to help Zara up. An unexpected summons, the cephalopod mused. How thrilling. As they made their way through the Academy's winding corridors, Zara couldn't shake a feeling of apprehension. What could be so urgent on only the second day of the term? Lecture Hall Epsilon 9 was abuzz with nervous energy when they arrived. Students of all shapes, sizes, and states of matter huddled in groups, speculating wildly about the reason for the assembly. Professor Xylex, a towering insectoid being with compound eyes that sparkled like galaxies, called for attention. The hall fell silent, save for the occasional rustle of feathers or squish of gelatinous forms. "Students," Xylex began, mandibles clicking with excitement, "an unprecedented opportunity has arisen. A void whale has been spotted in the nearby Cerulean Nebula, and we've been granted permission to study it up close." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Void whales, Zara recalled from her pre-academy reading, were massive space-faring creatures, rarely seen and poorly understood. However, Xylex continued, this opportunity comes with significant risks. Void whales are known to be temperamental and potentially dangerous. We need volunteers for a first contact team. The excitement in the room quickly turned to apprehension. Students began to shuffle nervously, avoiding eye contact with the professor. Zara felt a nudge from Six. "This is your moment, Earth friend," the cephalopod whispered. "Show them what a Deathworlder can do." Before she could second-guess herself, Zara found her hand shooting up. "I volunteer, Professor." All eyes in the room turned to her. Professor Xylex's antennae twitched with interest. "Ah, our human student. Excellent. Your species' adaptability could prove invaluable. Anyone else?" Slowly, a few more hands, and tentacles, and pseudopods, raised. Among them, Zara was pleased to see, were Gloop and Lyra. As the volunteer team assembled at the front of the hall, Professor Xylex briefed them on the mission. They would travel to the Cerulean Nebula in a specially equipped research vessel, attempt to make peaceful contact with the Void Whale, and collect as much data as possible. "Remember," Xylex emphasized, "this is a sentient being we're dealing with, not just a specimen. Respect and caution are paramount." As they boarded the sleek research vessel, Zora couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and terror. This was why she had come to Galactic Academy, for adventures beyond imagination, for the chance to expand the boundaries of knowledge. The ship hummed to life, its psychic navigation matrix interfacing with the pilot, a telepathic Koran named Zin. As they lifted off, Zora caught a last glimpse of the Academy's glittering spires before they were swallowed by the vastness of space. The journey to the Cerulean Nebula was mercifully short, thanks to the ship's quantum fold drive. As they dropped out of hyperspace, a collective gasp went up from the team. Before them, against the backdrop of swirling blue gases, floated a creature of impossible majesty. The Void Whale was enormous, easily dwarfing their ship. Its skin seemed to ripple with the very fabric of space-time, and stars glimmered in its wake. By the cosmic egg, Lyra breathed, her iridescent skin pulsing with awe. "It's beautiful." Professor Xylex's voice crackled over the ship's comm. "Remember your training. Approach slowly, and be ready to initiate first contact protocols." As they drew closer, the Void Whale turned its massive eye towards them. Zara felt a shiver run down her spine. There was unmistakable intelligence in that gaze, and something more, a depth of ancient wisdom that made her feel small and young. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Energy spike detected," Zin announced, their telepathic voice tinged with panic. "The Void Whale is generating some kind of spatial distortion." The ship bucked and shuddered as space itself seemed to twist around them. Through the view screen, Zara watched in horror as a rift began to open, dark and hungry, threatening to swallow them whole. "It's creating a micro-black hole." Professor Xylex's voice was filled with both terror and scientific excitement. "Fascinating, but we need to retreat immediately." But retreat was impossible. The rift's gravitational pull had them firmly in its grip, drawing them inexorably towards oblivion. In that moment of crisis, Zara felt a strange calm settle over her. Growing up on Earth, facing its myriad dangers, had prepared her for this. Humans were creatures of adaptation, of split-second decisions, and impossible odds. "Wait," she called out. "I have an idea." All eyes turned to her, a mixture of desperation and hope in their alien features. "The Void Whale isn't attacking us," Zara explained quickly. "It's scared. This is a defense mechanism. We need to show it we're not a threat." Before anyone could stop her, Zara raced to the airlock. She grabbed a spare suit, designed to withstand the rigors of deep space. "Zara, what are you doing?" Gloop's voice quivered with concern. "Something crazy," she replied, sealing the helmet. "Something human." With a deep breath, Zara cycled the airlock and launched herself into space, directly towards the Void Whale. The rift's pull grabbed her immediately, but she used it, angling her trajectory towards the massive creature. As she flew through the void, Zara spread her arms wide in a universal gesture of peace. She forced herself to relax, to project an aura of calm and friendship. The Void Whale's eye focused on her, curiosity replacing fear. Slowly, the spatial distortion began to subside. Zara's suit crackled to life. "Remarkable." Professor Xylex's voice was filled with awe. The void whale is responding to your gesture. The rift is closing. As the danger passed, Zara found herself floating face to face with the ancient spacefaring being. Its eye, big as a house, regarded her with newfound interest. And then something magical happened. The void whale began to sing. It wasn't sound as Zara understood it, but rather a complex melody of gravitational waves and quantum fluctuations. Somehow, incredibly, she could understand it. The song spoke of long journeys through the cosmic ocean, of the birth and death of stars, of the joy of floating free in the endless dark. Tears welled in Zara's eyes, fogging her helmet. This moment of connection with a being so alien yet so kindred was why she had come to Galactic Academy. As the research vessel carefully retrieved her, Zara knew that everything had changed. She had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their resilience or their adaptability, but their capacity for empathy, for reaching out across the gulf of strangeness to find common ground. Back on the ship, she was greeted with a hero's welcome. Gloop enveloped her in a gelatinous hug, while Lyra's skin shimmered with colors of joy and admiration. Professor Xylex's mandibles clicked rapidly. In all my cycles of teaching, I've never seen anything like that. You've opened up an entirely new field of study, young human. As the ship turned back towards Galactic Academy, the void whale falling away behind them, Zara felt a swell of pride. She had taken her first steps into a larger universe, and she couldn't wait to see what other wonders awaited. The journey back to Galactic Academy was filled with excited chatter and furious note-taking. Every member of the expedition team was eager to document their observations of the void whale encounter, but none more so than Zara. Her mind raced with the implications of what she'd experienced. As they disembarked at the Academy's central hangar, Zara was surprised to find a welcoming committee waiting for them. Archdean Xylos stood at the forefront, his many limbs arranged in a formal gesture of greeting. "Welcome back, brave explorers." The Archdean's resonant voice filled the hangar. "Word of your extraordinary encounter has already spread throughout the Academy. We are most eager to hear your report." The next few hours were a whirlwind of debriefings, medical checkups, and impromptu interviews. Zara found herself recounting her experience over and over, each time to a more senior and impressed-looking group of academics. Finally, exhausted but exhilarated, Zara was released to her dormitory. As she walked through the Academy's corridors, she noticed a change in how others regarded her. The fear and suspicion she'd sensed on her first day had been replaced with curiosity and respect. Six was waiting for her, tentacles waving excitedly. "Earth friend, your actions are the talk of the entire Academy. Tell me everything." As Zara recounted her adventure one more time, she was interrupted by a soft chime from her comm unit. It was a message from Professor Xylex, marked urgent. "Z, the impossible assignment." Zara's comm unit chimed with an urgent message from Professor Xylex. "Report to Xenobiology Lab Delta immediately. Bring your environmental suit." Exchanging a puzzled glance with Six, Zara grabbed her suit and hurried to the lab. As she entered, she found Professor Xylex in animated discussion with Archdean Xylos and several other faculty members he didn't recognize. "Ah, Zara." "Excellent timing," Xylex clicked, mandibles twitching excitedly. "Your encounter with the void whale has opened up unprecedented research opportunities. We've detected trace particles of exotic matter in your suit's filters, matter that could revolutionize our understanding of space-time." Archdean Xylos stepped forward, his multiple eyes focusing on Zara. "Young human, your actions have brought great honor to Galactic Academy. But now we must ask even more of you." Zara straightened, feeling a mix of pride and nervousness. "I'm ready to help in any way I can, Archdean." "Excellent," Xylos continued. "We are assigning you a special research project. You will lead a team to study these exotic particles and their potential applications. This assignment is as dangerous as it is important. Do you accept?" Without hesitation, Zara nodded. "I accept, Archdean." The next few days were a blur of preparation. Zara was given access to advanced laboratories and introduced to her research team. Gloop, whose amorphous body was ideal for handling hazardous materials. Lyra, whose celestial background provided invaluable insights into cosmic phenomena. And Kazurk, a hyper-intelligent swarm of crystalline insects specializing in quantum mechanics. As they delved into their research, the true nature of their assignment became clear. The exotic particles, which they dubbed void stuff, exhibited properties that defied conventional physics. They seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously and responded to conscious observation in ways that baffled even the most advanced AI predictive models. One evening, as Zara pored over data readouts, she noticed something strange. The void stuff particles seemed to be moving. Not randomly, but in patterns that looked almost deliberate. "Guys, come look at this," she called to her team. They crowded around the holographic display, watching in awe as the particles danced and swirled. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered, her skin shimmering with wonder. Kazurk's swarm buzzed excitedly. "The patterns, they resemble neural pathways. Could the void stuff be thinking?" The implications were staggering. If the void stuff was indeed some form of conscious matter, it could rewrite their understanding of life itself. As they dug deeper, however, they encountered a major obstacle. The void stuff was incredibly unstable, decaying rapidly outside of its native cosmic environment. They needed a way to stabilize it long enough to study its properties in depth. Zara spent sleepless nights brainstorming solutions, drawing on everything she'd learned about Earth's extreme environments. "What if," she proposed to her team one morning, eyes bloodshot but bright with excitement, "we create a miniature version of the void whale's internal environment?" The idea was met with skepticism at first. Simulating the inside of a cosmic entity was no small feat. But as Zara laid out her plan, drawing analogies to deep-sea creatures on Earth, her team began to see the possibilities. They worked tirelessly, combining their diverse knowledge and skills. Gloop's understanding of fluid dynamics helped them design a containment system. Lyra's cosmic insights guided the creation of a specialized energy field. Kazurk's swarm engineered nanoscale structures to house the void stuff. Weeks turned into months. The team faced setback after setback, each failure pushing them to the brink of despair. But Zara's unwavering determination kept them going. On Earth, she'd say during their darkest moments, "We have a saying, failure is not an option." Finally, after countless attempts, they achieved a breakthrough. In a containment chamber no larger than Zora's fist, a swirling mass of void stuff pulsed with otherworldly light. As they gathered around the chamber, hardly daring to breathe, the void stuff began to move. Slowly at first, then with increasing complexity, it formed shapes and patterns. To Zara's amazement, she recognized some of them. They mirrored the cosmic song the void whale had shared with her. "It's communicating," she breathed, awe evident in her voice. Kazurk's swarm vibrated with excitement. "But how do we interpret it? Our conventional translation algorithms are useless here." Zara thought back to her encounter with the void whale, to the moment of connection she'd felt. "We need to approach this differently," she said slowly. "Not as scientists trying to decrypt a code, but as one consciousness reaching out to another." Over the next few days, they experimented with various forms of interaction. They exposed the void stuff to different stimuli, light patterns, sound waves, even the brain patterns of various species. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to establish a rudimentary form of communication. The void stuff, they discovered, was not a single entity, but a collective consciousness. It existed across vast stretches of space and time, using cosmic phenomena like void whales as conduits to explore the universe. As their understanding grew, so did the enormity of their discovery. The void stuff could potentially revolutionize everything from space travel to energy production to the very nature of sentient rights in the galaxy. But with this knowledge came danger. Word of their research had spread, And not everyone had altruistic intentions. One evening, as Zara was working late in the lab, she intercepted an encrypted transmission that chilled her to the bone. There were forces out there who wanted to weaponize the void stuff, to use its reality warping properties for destruction on an unimaginable scale. Zara called an emergency meeting with her team and the Academy leadership. As she explained the situation, she could see the fear and uncertainty in their alien features. "We have to protect this discovery," she argued passionately. "The void stuff isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's a form of life, maybe the most ancient in the universe. We have a responsibility to it and to the galaxy." Archdean Xylos's many limbs moved in a complex gesture of deep thought. "What you propose is dangerous, young human. It could put the entire Academy at risk." But he added, seeing the determination in Zora's eyes, "It is the right thing to do. What do you need from us?" Zara took a deep breath. "We need to return the void stuff to its natural environment. And to do that, we need to find a void whale." The room erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some supportive, others vehemently opposed. But Zara stood firm, backed by her team. This was why she had come to Galactic Academy, not just to learn, but to make a difference in the universe. As the argument raged around her, Zara's mind was already racing ahead, planning their next move. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but she was ready. After all, she was a human from Earth. Adapting to impossible situations was in her blood. Little did she know, the greatest challenges and the most wondrous discoveries still lay ahead. The void stuff had opened a door to a universe more strange and beautiful than she had ever imagined, and Zara was determined to step through it, no matter the cost. As the meeting adjourned, with a tentative plan in place, Zara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. She caught Gloop's eye, or what passed for an eye in the amorphous being's physiology, and saw her own emotions reflected there. "Well, Earth friend," Gloop burbled, a hint of nervous laughter in its gelatinous form. "It seems you've led us into quite the adventure. My progenitors always warned me about the recklessness of Deathworlders, but I never imagined it would be so exhilarating." Zara couldn't help but smile. "Welcome to the human experience, Gloop. Now, let's go save the universe." As they left the conference room, none of them noticed the shadowy figure that detached itself from a darkened alcove, slipping away to report to its mysterious masters. The race to secure the void stuff had begun, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Unleashing the beast. The plan to return the void stuff to its natural habitat was fraught with challenges from the start. Finding a void whale was like searching for a specific droplet in an ocean that spanned the entire galaxy. But Zara and her team were nothing if not resourceful. They spent weeks poring over astronomical data, looking for telltale signs of void whale activity, strange gravitational anomalies, unexplained bursts of exotic radiation, whispers of sightings from the farthest reaches of known space. All became pieces in their cosmic puzzle. It was Kdverk who finally made the breakthrough. The crystalline swarm had been analyzing the decay patterns of the contained void stuff when it noticed something peculiar. "The decay isn't random," Kdverk buzzed excitedly. "It's following a complex rhythm, almost like a beacon." Zara's eyes widened as understanding dawned. "It's calling for help," she breathed. "The void stuff is trying to lead us to its home." With this new insight, they recalibrated their search parameters. Using the void stuff's decay pattern as a guide, they narrowed down their search to a remote sector of the galaxy, far from established trade routes and settled worlds. As they prepared for their expedition, Zora couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Small things, a misplaced data pad, a strange glitch in the lab's security systems, kept her on edge. She shared her concerns with Archdean Xylos, who agreed to increase security around their project. The day of departure arrived all too soon. Their ship, a sleek vessel designed for deep space exploration, was loaded with equipment and supplies for a potentially lengthy journey. The containment unit holding the void stuff was carefully secured in a specially shielded compartment. As they prepared for launch, Zura was surprised to see Professor Xylex scuttling up the boarding ramp, mandibles clicking with excitement. "You didn't think I'd let my star pupils embark on the scientific adventure of a lifetime without me, did you?" The insectoid professor chittered. With the addition of Xylex to their crew, they set off into the vast unknown. Days stretched into weeks as they followed the void stuff's faint signal, venturing further from charted space than any Galactic Academy expedition had gone before. It was during the third week of their journey that disaster struck. Zara was jolted awake by blaring alarms and the violent shuddering of the ship. She raced to the bridge, finding chaos. "We're under attack," Lyra cried, her iridescent skin pulsing with alarm. Unknown vessels, heavily armed. Through the view screen, Zara saw 3 sleek, predatory ships bearing down on them. Their designs were unlike anything in the Galactic Academy's databases. "It's got to be the group after the void stuff," Zara realized. "They must have followed us." As energy blasts rocked their ship, Zora's mind raced. They were outgunned and had no hope of outrunning their pursuers, but she refused to let the void stuff fall into the wrong hands. "Gloop," she shouted, "can you interface with the ship's systems? We need to mask our energy signature." The amorphous alien oozed into the ship's control panel, its body lighting up with complex patterns as it merged with the vessel's eye. "I can create a false energy reading," Gloop burbled, "but it won't fool them for long." "Long enough," Zara said grimly. "Everyone, prepare for emergency landing procedures. We're going down." With Gloop's deception buying them precious seconds, Zara piloted their damaged ship towards the nearest celestial body, a massive gas giant with dozens of moons. She aimed for one that showed signs of a breathable atmosphere, hoping against hope that they could lose their pursuers in the descent. The entry was brutal. Heat shields strained to their limits as they plummeted through the moon's thick atmosphere. Warning klaxons blared as systems failed one by one. Zara's hands flew over the controls, fighting for every meter of controlled descent. With a bone-jarring impact, they crashed into a dense forest of alien vegetation. As the dust settled, Zara did a quick check of her team. Miraculously, everyone had survived, though Xylex's exoskeleton had suffered a nasty crack. Is everyone all right?" Zara coughed, waving away acrid smoke. Before anyone could respond, a bone-chilling roar shook the wreckage of their ship. Through the shattered view screen, Zara saw something massive moving in the forest. Something with far too many teeth. "Out. Everyone out now," she yelled, grabbing the void stuff containment unit. They scrambled from the wreckage just as an enormous, multi-limbed predator burst into the clearing. It resembled nothing so much as a nightmarish fusion of Earth's most deadly creatures, the strength of a grizzly, the speed of a cheetah, and the cunning of a velociraptor, all scaled up to terrifying proportions. "Scatter," Zara commanded. "Draw it away from the ship." As her teammates fled in different directions, Zara stood her ground, heart pounding. The beast's eyes, all 12 of them, focused on her with predatory intensity. It let out another ear-splitting roar and charge. In that moment, Zara's Deathworlder instincts took over. She waited until the last possible second, then dove to the side, using the creature's momentum against it. The beast crashed into the ship's wreckage, momentarily stunned. Zara used the opportunity to assess their situation. They were stranded on an unknown moon, pursued by hostile forces, and now faced with native wildlife that seemed determined to eat them. And through it all, she had to protect the void stuff. As the predator recovered and turned for another charge, Zora's mind raced. She needed a plan, and fast. The void stuff containment unit felt heavy in her arms, a reminder of the cosmic stakes they faced. Suddenly, an idea struck her. It was risky, possibly suicidal, but it was their only chance. "Everyone, back to me," she shouted. "And whatever happens next, trust me." As her teammates cautiously made their way back, Eyeing the circling predator warily, Zara began to unlatch the containment unit. "Zara, what are you doing?" Professor Xylex clicked in alarm. "If you release the void stuff here, we'll lose everything we've worked for." "We'll lose a lot more if we're eaten," Zara replied grimly. "Besides, I have a hunch." As the predator tensed for another attack, Zara took a deep breath and opened the containment unit. The void stuff burst forth in a dazzling display of cosmic energy, swirling around them like a living aurora. The effect on the predator was immediate and astonishing. It stopped mid-charge, all 12 eyes wide with what could only be described as awe. The creature lowered itself to the ground in a gesture that looked almost reverential. "Incredible," Lyra whispered, her skin shimmering with wonder. "It's communicating with the native life forms." Indeed, the void stuff was weaving complex patterns in the air, patterns that the predator seemed to be responding to. Slowly, other creatures emerged from the forest. Flying beings with gossamer wings, small furry creatures with too many legs, even plants that uprooted themselves to inch closer. "It's not just matter," Kizurk buzzed in realization. "The void stuff is a bridge between consciousnesses. It's connecting us all." As they watched in amazement, the void stuff began to coalesce into a familiar shape, the unmistakable silhouette of a void whale. But this was no mere image. Somehow, impossibly, a juvenile void whale was materializing before their eyes. The young cosmic entity regarded them with ancient wisdom. When it spoke, it wasn't with words, but with impressions and emotions that resonated in their very beings. Gratitude for freeing it from containment, for bringing it home. Understanding of their pursuit, their dangers, their quest for knowledge. And finally, an offer of protection, of passage, of a journey beyond their wildest dreams. Zara looked at her team, saw the mix of fear and excitement in their alien features. She knew that stepping into the void whale would be a journey of no return, a plunge into the deepest mysteries of the cosmos. "Well," she said with a grin, "we did come out here to study the unknown. Shall we?" One by one, they nodded. Even Professor Xylex, usually so cautious, clicked his mandibles in agreement. As they approached the void whale, the native creatures of the moon formed an honor guard. The predator that had so recently tried to eat them now bowed its head as they passed. Just before they stepped into the cosmic entity, Zara heard the distant roar of engines. Their pursuers had found them, but they were too late. With a final look back at the crash site, at the galaxy she had known, Zara stepped forward into the unknown. The void whale enveloped them in living starlight, and with a ripple of space-time, they vanished. Their journey into the heart of the cosmos had begun, and with it, a new chapter in the understanding of life, consciousness, and the very fabric of reality. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Zara knew that her team, her friends, would face them together. As the void whale carried them into the cosmic ocean, Zara felt a sense of peace wash over her. Whatever happened next, she was exactly where she was meant to be, at the forefront of discovery, pushing the boundaries of the known universe. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. Ripple effects. The journey within the void whale defied all conventional understanding of space and time. Zara and her team found themselves immersed in a living tapestry of cosmic energy, surrounded by swirling patterns of light and dark that seemed to whisper the secrets of the universe. Communication with the void whale was unlike anything they had experienced before. Thoughts and emotions flowed freely, unbound by the limitations of language or species. Through this ethereal exchange, they learned more about the nature of the cosmos in what felt like moments than the combined scientific communities of the galaxy had discovered in millennia. They discovered that the void whales were not merely creatures that lived in space, but integral parts of the cosmic fabric itself. They were living bridges between dimensions, their songs the very music that kept reality in harmony. As they traveled, Zara noticed changes in herself and her companions. Gloop's amorphous form now shimmered with starlight, capable of assuming shapes that defied Euclidean geometry. Lyra's iridescent skin had become a window into other realities, each scale a portal to a different dimension. Kizurk's crystalline swarm had evolved into a living computational matrix, capable of solving complex cosmic equations instinctively. Even Professor Xylex, ever the skeptic, found his scientific worldview expanding beyond his wildest dreams. His exoskeleton now pulsed with quantum probabilities, each movement a calculation of infinite possibilities. Zara herself felt her consciousness expanding, connecting with the cosmic web in ways she could never have imagined. She could sense the ebb and flow of galaxies, the birth and death of stars, the intricate dance of subatomic particles across the vastness of space. But their journey was not without purpose. The void whale was taking them to the heart of something ancient and powerful, a cosmic nexus where the boundaries between realities were at their thinnest. As they approached their destination, Zara sensed a disturbance in the cosmic currents. Something was wrong. The harmonies of the universe were off-key, discordant notes jarring against the cosmic symphony. With a sudden lurch, they emerged from the void whale into normal space, or what should have been normal space. Instead, they found themselves in the midst of chaos. Before them stretched a vast battlefield. Void whales clashed against monstrous machines that defied description, tearing holes in the very fabric of reality. Streams of void stuff bubbled from wounded cosmic entities, coalescing into weapons of unimaginable power. By the cosmic egg, Professor Xylex clicked in horror. What is happening? The answer came not in words, but in a flood of images and emotions from their void whale companion. The enemies they had fled on the moon were merely pawns in a much larger conflict. An ancient race, long thought extinct, had returned from the spaces between universes. They sought to harvest the power of the void stuff, to remake reality in their image. The void whales, guardians of cosmic harmony, were all that stood in their way. Zara felt a surge of determination. They hadn't come all this way, hadn't expanded their understanding of the universe, just to watch it fall to chaos. "We have to help," she declared, her voice resonating with newfound power. "We may be small, but we understand the void stuff now. We can make a difference." Her team nodded in agreement, their forms shimmering with cosmic energy. Even as they watched, the battlefield shifted, reality warping around the combatants. Using their newfound abilities, they plunged into the fray. Gloop flowed through the cracks in space-time, shoring up weaknesses in the cosmic fabric. Lyra's dimensional scales reflected enemy attacks, turning their own power against them. Kizurk's swarm became a living firewall, calculating and countering the invaders' attempts to rewrite the laws of physics. Zara found herself at the heart of the conflict, her expanded consciousness allowing her to see the patterns of the battle. She directed her friends, coordinated with the void whales, her human adaptability combined with cosmic awareness making her a natural strategist. The battle raged across dimensions, across time itself. They witnessed the birth and death of universes in the space of heartbeats, fought in the swirling hearts of galaxies and in the vast emptiness between them. And slowly, gradually, the tide began to turn. The invaders, for all their power, couldn't match the harmony of the void whales combined with the ingenuity of Zora's team. One by one, their reality warping machines were shut down, their forces pushed back to the spaces between universes. As the last of the invaders retreated, a sense of calm settled over the cosmic battlefield. The void whales began to sing, their melody restoring balance to wounded spacetime. Exhausted but triumphant, Zara and her team found themselves back inside their void whale companion. But now, they were not merely passengers. They were part of something greater, accepted into the cosmic community they had helped to defend. As they basked in the afterglow of victory, Zara felt a tug on her expanded consciousness, a call from across the universe, from Galactic Academy. With a start, she realized that what had felt like a lifetime to them had been mere months in the normal flow of time. Their disappearance had caused quite a stir in the academic community. "I suppose we have quite a report to file," Zara said with a laugh, her voice echoing with the music of the spheres. Professor Xylex's mandibles clicked in what might have been a chuckle. "My dear, I believe we have material for several thousand dissertations at least." As their void whale companion set a course back to known space, Zara reflected on their journey. They had set out to study the unknown, to push the boundaries of science. Instead, they had become part of the cosmic tapestry itself, defenders of a reality more vast and wondrous than they had ever imagined. The Galactic Academy would never be the same, but then again, neither would the universe. As they approached familiar star systems, Zara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. How could they possibly explain what they had experienced, what they had become? But that, she realized with a smile, was a challenge for another day. For now, they were explorers returning home, bearing knowledge beyond price and stories beyond belief. The greatest adventure of their lives was over. And yet, in many ways, it was only just beginning. Bridging worlds. The return to Galactic Academy was nothing short of sensational. As their void whale companion gently deposited them in the Academy's main hangar, Zara and her team were met with a mixture of awe, fear, and unbridled scientific curiosity. Archdean Xylos was at the forefront of the welcoming committee, his multiple limbs gesticulating in barely contained excitement. "By all the stars," he breathed, his voice resonating with emotion. "We thought you were lost to us." Zara stepped forward, her form shimmering with residual cosmic energy. "We were lost, Archdean," she said, her voice carrying echoes of the universe's song. "And then we were found." The debriefing that followed lasted weeks. Zara and her team recounted their adventures, struggling to put into words experiences that defied conventional understanding. They spoke of the living tapestry of the cosmos, of battles fought across realities, of the true nature of the void whales and the void stuff. Scientists from across the galaxy flocked to Galactic Academy, eager to study the transformed team. Zara found herself at the center of a whirlwind of tests, interviews, and impassioned academic debates. But amidst the chaos, a new purpose began to crystallize in Zara's mind. Their experiences hadn't just changed them. They had given them a unique perspective on the universe and their place in it. They had a responsibility now, not just to share knowledge, but to bridge the gap between the cosmic and the mundane. "We need to establish a new department," Zara proposed to Archdean Xylos one day. "Not just xenobiology or astrophysics, but something that encompasses the true interconnected nature of the cosmos. A department of cosmic harmony." Xylos's eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of deep thought. "An ambitious proposal," he mused. "But given what you've experienced, perhaps ambition is exactly what we need." And so, with the full backing of the Galactic Academy, the Department of Cosmic Harmony was born. Under Zara's leadership, it quickly became a nexus of interdisciplinary study, attracting scholars from fields as diverse as quantum mechanics, synapsecology, and metaphysical philosophy. Gloop's ability to manipulate space-time led to breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel. Lyra's dimensional scales revolutionized the field of parallel universe theory. Kizark's living computational matrix opened up new frontiers in quantum computing. Even Professor Xylex, his exoskeleton still pulsing with quantum probabilities, made groundbreaking strides in predictive xenobiology. But their work extended far beyond the academic realm. Zara and her team became ambassadors to the void whales, facilitating communication between the cosmic entities and the galactic community. They helped establish protocols for safe void stuff research, ensuring that the mistakes of the past wouldn't be repeated. Their experiences also led to a shift in galactic politics. The knowledge that there were threats lurking in the spaces between universes, held at bay only by the void whales, led to unprecedented cooperation between formerly antagonistic species. A galactic defense initiative was formed, with Zora's team providing crucial insights into cosmic-scale threats. Years passed, and the ripples of their adventure continued to spread. Zora watched with pride as a new generation of students, inspired by their story, pushed the boundaries of cosmic exploration. Humans, once seen as dangerous curiosities from a death world, became highly sought after for their adaptability and unique perspective. One day, as Zara stood in the observatory of the Cosmic Harmony Department, watching students from 100 worlds engage in animated discussion, she felt a familiar presence. Turning, she saw the shimmering form of a void whale, visible only to her enhanced senses. "Hello, old friend," she said warmly. "What brings you to our humble corner of the universe?" The void whale's response came not in words, but in a symphony of emotions and images. Zara saw glimpses of new wonders, of cosmic phenomena yet to be discovered. But more than that, she felt an invitation. "Another journey?" she asked, a smile playing on her lips. The void whale's answer was tinged with both excitement and urgency. There were other realities in need of harmony, other cosmic tapestries to mend. Zara looked back at the thriving department she had built, at the legacy she would leave behind. She thought of Gloop, Lyra, Kizark, and Xylex, each making their own monumental contributions to galactic knowledge. "I suppose," she said with a chuckle, "that every ending is just a new beginning." As she prepared to step once more into the cosmic unknown, Zara reflected on how far she had come. From a curious student from a death world to a cosmic explorer bridging realities, she had faced challenges beyond imagination and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. Yet for all that had changed, some things remained constant: her human curiosity, her drive to explore and understand, her desire to make a difference. These were the qualities that had carried her across the cosmos and would propel her into new adventures. As the void whale enveloped her, ready to carry her to new realities, Zara felt a surge of excitement. The universe, in all its infinite variations, awaited, and she was ready to embrace it all. With a ripple of space-time, Zara vanished from the observatory, embarking on her next great adventure. But her legacy remained. In the Department of Cosmic Harmony, in the changed perspective of the galactic community, and in the hearts and minds of all those she had inspired. In the end, that was perhaps her greatest achievement, not just exploring the unknown, but illuminating the path for others to follow. As long as there were curious minds and brave hearts willing to venture into the cosmic ocean, the spirit of her journey would live on. And somewhere in the vast, wondrous tapestry of the multiverse, Zara's adventure continued, a never-ending story of discovery, growth, and the enduring power of the human spirit.